right, here is a crazy one for you. All right, so the question came up about writing automation to a channel that is linked to a VCA channel. Now, it was noticed that a strange anomaly occurs when you try to do that. So, if I have both of these faders set at 0, you can see that I have the channel that is linked to the VCA set to touch. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit play, and I'm going to move the fader, and you can see everything looks normal. Notice that the automation line where it begins and the kind of grayed outline where it started are lined up so perfectly. Okay, so now I'm going to delete this automation information. So now what happens if I turn the VCA fader down to, say, maybe 8 and then try to write automation? I want you to see what happens. So now I'm going to hit play again, and the minute I touch this fader, you're going to watch the level shoot up higher. So boom, there it goes. You saw it actually shoot up, and now you see that the two lines don't match. And if you look at the automation line set here, it is actually set at almost 10.0. Oh, actually, it's 8. I'm going to bring this all the way up to 10. There we go. If I look at that, it is set. You can see here that I am all the way at the top, but I can't get it to 10. Or sometimes it will shoot all the way to 10, but you can see here that the fader doesn't line up anymore with the actual line in the back. It took me a while, but I figured it out. This is because the VCA fader is changing the relative value of the fader connected to it. Right, exactly. Yeah, it's a little bit bizarre, but it does make sense. So now I want you to watch this carefully here. So now I'm going to undo all of this stuff here. So what is the cure for this? Okay, so now this is the interesting part. If you want to write automation for a channel linked to a VCA, you cannot do it while it's linked. You have to go here, you have to click on this and disconnect it. Now watch what happens here. I'm going to go ahead and write some automation, and you can see it's working normally, that the default line is linked with the grayed outline right there. But watch this. Now, if I go to the channel and I reconnect it to the VCA fader, you will actually see the actual automation for the linked channel changing. And now it's working at a more narrow level. Even though the automation line is still where we had it, it is only going to automate at the lower level. So if I turn the VCA fader up and get them to match, now you can actually see this has to be back at 0 for the channel to read the original automation link to it. Yes, it is a little bit bizarre, but this is by design so that if you have multiple channels linked to a VCA, they don't lose their relative value against each other and the VCA. Yeah, I know. But you can actually see how this is being done by just adjusting the VCA after you've written the automation and relink the channel to it. You can see that the automation will follow the new relative value because the position of the VCA fader has changed. So now it's actually automating at a more narrow level, but if I wanted to actually do the original, I have to have the VCA at 0, but it has to match. Now, at first I thought this was a bug, but this is by design, and I think it is quite cool that Studio One is smart enough to do this. So if you change the value of your VCA, maybe to turn down a whole bunch of channels, the automation goes with it. I hope I didn't lose anybody, because it took me a long time to really figure this out, and it wasn't until I unlinked it, did the automation, and relinked it that I noticed that not only does the automation follow the relative value of whatever it's set at, it adjusts, and it will go away if I have the VCA fader down. Pretty cool. I think, so now in order to get this fader, see, now that automation is written, you can't change the position of this fader. I suppose I could use Alt and do it. Yeah, no, I can't even use Alt and do it. So it's there now. So if I want to be able to move this freely, I have to delete the automation and start all over again. But remember, in a nutshell, it's important to write the automation to a channel before you link it to a VCA and then link it afterwards. Or if it's already linked to a VCA, unlink it, write your automation, relink it, and then you can have the relative value of the automation run to the relative value that you have set for the channel. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. So I hope that this is helpful, and I'll see you guys all in the next video.